I will lead, performing James Polk, The Dark Horse of Mid-America, Manifest Destiny. James K. Polk's leadership led to the cultural and physical change of the United States. The idea of manifest destiny, or the control of two oceans, came from the early longing for land and traced back to our nation's forefathers. James Polk's impact shaped the nation, acquiring the Oregon Territory, starting the Mexican-American War, and re-annexing Texas. Today, Polk's legacy can be seen through the land of the West and the completion of Manifest Destiny. Today, on April 30th, 1803, I, Thomas Jefferson, have created and enlarged America. Louisiana Purchase will allow us access to the rich resources of the West. This is just the beginning of an expanding nation. In 1818, James Polk joined Tennessee's legislature, where he served for 6 years. In 1824, he joined the U.S. House of Representatives. And after proving his political presence, he was elected Speaker of the House in 1835. In 1844, Andrew Jackson helped James Polk emerge as a candidate for president, challenging Martin Van Buren for the Democratic vote. Change is necessary in our great nation, Andrew. I need a strong platform for my election. I need something that'll put me over the top and win this thing. Maybe expansion is a possibility, James. Possibly the acquisition of Oregon. Of course, this is the way I'll win the election. But it's not enough. I need more on the matter of change to expand my electoral campaign upon. Possibly Texas and its annexation could be a momentum shift in the election. Texas has been independent for some time now, James. Under these circumstances, this could boost our support of expansion. Yes, Andrew, yes. It will also draw attention to myself. But I must not flinch. A controversial topic like this will bring me various support and attacks from all directions. I have to dig my heels on the ground and show people I mean business. No other candidates are pressing these issues as much as you are, James. Most of the other contenders are scared of this proposition. Won't I be competing against Martin Van Buren, a man who you supported for a long time in politics? He does not support my views on manifest destiny and expansion. He also disagrees with the annexation of Texas. In this, you are my man. James Polk's campaign platform distinguished him from the other candidates, helping him stand out in debates with Martin Van Buren. Change is necessary for our great nation. We must take the reins of our country and firmly lead us towards expansion. Though my opponent, Mr. Van Buren, disagrees. I do disagree, Mr. Polk. The Texas area draws many question marks. It's a huge burden to have to control this disputed area, and the tensions are still high with the country of Mexico. It's also our duty as Americans to help in any and every way to make this great country of ours even greater. It's an enormous responsibility. It will be difficult to adapt all the immigrants in the area to American culture. The only reason that immigrants are in Texas is because they're waiting to be annexed to the U.S. We as a nation have nothing to lose in the acquisition of Texas, aside from a possible conflict in Mexico and the debate that will arise about slavery. James Polk won the Democratic nomination, but faced new opposition in Henry Clay, who opposed the annexation of Texas. Henry Clay said, I consider the annexation of Texas this time, without the assent of Mexico, as a measure compromising the national character, involving a certain lead role with Mexico, probably with other foreign powers, dangerous to the integrity of the Union. But Polk had supporters who believed in the annexation of Texas. John L. O'Sullivan, a newspaper editor, criticized the opponents of the annexation of Texas, saying, it's time now for the opposition of the annexation of Texas to cease. It was an independence, not only in fact, but of right. If Texas became populated with an American population, it was by no contrivance of our government, but on the express invitation of that of Mexico herself. By the smallest margin, Polk won the presidency and showed in his inaugural address that expansion was his main goal. None can fail to see the danger to our safety and future peace if Texas remains an independent state or becomes an ally or dependency of some foreign nation more powerful than itself. Additionally, we must resolve the Oregon question. Our title to the Oregon Territory is clear and unquestionable, and already our people are preparing to perfect that title by occupying it with their wives and children. Barclay Martin of Tennessee gave a speech supporting James Polk and the United States' right to the Oregon area, saying, I will promise to enter into a prolonged discussion on our title to Oregon and learn that Mr. Jones has clearly maintained the validity of our title, not against Great Britain, but on the express invitation of that of Mexico herself. Polk's position on Oregon created a new rally cry that swept the nation. 54-40 or fight! 54-40 or fight! In his reaffirmation of the No Doctrine speech, Polk stated, Oregon is a part of the North American continent to which it is confidently affirmed to the title of the United States. The British proposition of compromise, which would make the Columbia River the borderline, with a trifling addition of detached territory to the United States north of that river, and would leave on the British side 2/3 of the whole Oregon territory, is rejected. Multiple letters were exchanged between the British Prime Minister and James Polk on the subject of Oregon. Many feared war with Britain, but Polk convinced Britain war was not the wise option, and the 49th parallel was chosen as the new borderline. Now Polk shifted all of his attention towards Mexico. General Taylor, I'm sending John Seidel to Mexico City. I want this conflict to end before war is initiated. Yes, Mr. President, I see. But what do you need me and my men for, sir? I need you and your men at the Rio Grande. If this meeting goes south, we have to contain it. This crisis can be contained. I just need your men at the border. Consider it done, Mr. President. The United States took a three-pronged approach towards the war. One army took control of California and New Mexico, a second took control of northern Mexico, while a third took Mexico City. Late in 1846, James Polk called upon General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, who had been exiled to Cuba, to try and end the war early. Letters were exchanged between the United States and Santa Anna. The United States of America is asking General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna to assist our nation in the cease of the war between our great nations. If you comply, we will overrule your exile. You will be allowed to return to your beloved Mexico. Ah! These foolish Americans think I will betray my own country. This president does not know Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. I will make these foolish Americans pay. You, take a letter. Thank you, Mr. President, for allowing me to return to my country. I gladly accept your offer and promise to make peace on American terms that will enhance both the United States and the Republic of Mexico. Mexicans, there was once a day in my heart dilates with remembrance. You saluted me with titles of soldier of the people. Let me take it again, never more to be given up, and to devote myself until death to the defense of the liberty of the independence of the Republic. General Santa Anna's confidence grew enough to call out General Taylor and his men. I will personally send a letter to the commander of the Americans. I'll just tell him that we'll accept their surrender, so they don't get embarrassed on the battlefield. The message was delivered to General Taylor on the night of February 21st, 1847, sparking fire in the American troops. After a gruesome 2 days of fighting, the Mexican army fled, being beaten by the sheer will of the American troops at the Battle of Buena Vista. After receiving the letter from General Taylor regarding the victory, Polk made a move that would change the outcome of the war. Take half of General Taylor's men and put them under the command of General Scott. We need to end this war, quick. He and his men will move in on Mexico City. I know the journey is over 500 miles, but I have faith in the American troops. I know this will end the war. After laying siege to Mexico City, the Mexican army surrendered. Signed February 2nd, 1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo officially recognized undisputed U.S. control of Texas, set the U.S.-Mexican border at the Rio Grande, and established a territory that would soon become the states of California, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico, most of Arizona, and Colorado. Only 4 years and I have accomplished everything I promised. Oregon, Texas, California, New Mexico, the two great oceans of the Pacific and Atlantic have been connected under U.S. control. I have said, no president who performs his duty faithfully and conscientiously can have any leisure. Perhaps soon I can rest, but before I do, I will address the issue of slavery that has worried so many. The question seems to be rather abstract than practical, whether slavery ever can or would exist in any portion of the acquired territory, even if we're left up to the option of the slaveholding states themselves. From the nature of the climate and production to the much larger portion of it, it is certain it could never exist, and the remainder of the probabilities are it would not. James Polk sacrificed everything to realize manifest destiny. He tirelessly worked to complete his vision to make the United States reach from coast to coast. Through his one term as president, Polk worked himself to death, suffered from premature aging and exhaustion. He truly devoted his life to being president. Unfortunately, despite his prediction, the new territory only increased the issue of slavery. After Polk's death, the United States fell into civil war. However, Polk's determination to acquire Oregon and California and the annexation of Texas left an imprint on the United States of his hard work and truly left a lasting legacy on America.